So it's been a big weekend for one of La Liga's two unbeaten powerhouse sides, sitting as they do attractively in the Champions League places, just as everybody expected them to be. No, not Madrid or Villarreal, and certainly not Atleti, but Elche. Mighty fucking Elche. I think there's a fair chance that you couldn't place them on a map. In fact, if there were a map of Spanish clubs' financial muscle, Elche would be 8 stone weaklings lost somewhere in the economic hinterland without a GPS. And do you know the mad story of their owner? Well, that's coming. So look, the fact that Elche were promoted last season, were looked upon as whipping boys, and nonetheless are 4th placed and handsome, dreaming of trips to Kazakhstan and Bulgaria next season, is damn interesting, and I'm going to come back to it because their spirited and deserved win over Celta deserves it. But I know on which side you lot butter my bread. It's important to get to Madrid and Atleti and Barcelona too, particularly this weekend in the follow-up. First, Madrid. The glory belongs unequivocally to Atleti, glorious Atleti, who none of us had lost faith in, none of us had relentlessly criticised for their pallid, flaccid underperformance. Right? No, I did. But look, take my word on this, that the Manita, 5 goals that they imposed on Los Blancos, is simply proof that for months and months and months, they've been letting themselves, their fans and the whole school down. The last time they played this well was in scoring 4 at Barcelona in the Cup last Easter. Ultimately, they went out, but it was a hell of a display. The last time they played Madrid at the Metropolitano, they won 1-0, but it should have been 3-0 and their first ever elimination of the city neighbours in the UEFA competitions, but it wasn't. So how poetic was it that Julian Alvarez put Atleti in front from the same penalty spot in front of the same section of the stadium as he'd slipped and double tapped and thus missed his penalty in the Champions League shootout last season against Ancelotti's side? Yeah, poetic. Rupert Brooke. Speaking of which, this was the type of performance, not just result, which got Ancelotti fired back in 2015 in one of the last Vicente Calderón Madrid derbies when Atleti won 4-0 on the Sunday night when Cristiano Ronaldo had arranged his birthday celebrations and controversially went through with them despite the trouncing. Los Colchoneros haven't really come close to a performance of this magnitude against Madrid since that night 10 years ago, and it's 75 years since they stuck 5 past Los Blancos, so long as you ignore the 7-3 friendly win in New Jersey where their World Cup final will be played next July, back in 2019, and frankly you should ignore that. Pause, stop for a second. Look, this edition of Revista de la Liga is brought to you by Surfshark VPN. Yes, it is. I use Surfshark VPN for internet security, which is important, and I've got a great deal to help you do the same. A virtual private network protects your online life, it stops websites tracking you, it stops you being overcharged simply because of your location, and socios, it means you can use your existing subscriptions to watch football even when you're traveling internationally. No more dodgy streams, no more dodgy streams. Now, I just tell Surfshark VPN to change my location to Spain, and wherever I am in the world, I access the same games as I would if I were sitting at home in Barcelona. Visiting Spain to see your favourite team? Second favourite team? Some websites charge you the price they show you, change depending on your location, but not with Surfshark VPN. It's a secret travel hack that saves you money. Other benefits? Surfshark also provide additional security through other products, including Surfshark Antivirus, Surfshark Search, a safe ad-free search engine. Join us by adding Surfshark VPN to your defense. Ba-boom. Go to surfshark.com/Revista4 and you've got 4 months of extra protection as a bonus, and you'll support this show. So make the best signing for your internet defense and claim 4 extra months of protection by going to surfshark.com/Revista, then the number 4. On with the show. There were a couple of remnants from that Atleti 4-0 win 10 years ago in Diego Simeone's side. Oblak, who didn't do much except pick the ball out of the net twice. Koke, who was dandy, new spurt of life. And Griezmann, who scored. Honestly, the Madrid fans with typewriters, journalists is too proud a word for most of those mongrels who might as well wear a club shirt and a scarf when they write or commentate or talk on the radio. They will never learn. That's part of Monday's Gazzetta message to you. The papers, according to all of these guys, that Los Blancos are either magnificent and destined to marmalise everybody forever, or they're complete fucking duds. By Sunday and Monday morning, the printed media and broadcast media had hammered Xabi Alonso and his team into the ground. They can't win big matches, they can't defend, they lack character, etc, etc, etc. All that's been achieved this season, even in patchy performances, is bathwater thrown out with the baby. The baby's gone out the window. Either sensational, to quote Sean Connery, or shite. Right now, with Carvajal injured and Militao rested, they're 6,500 miles away, and I bet they're glad to be, plus a 7-hour flight to play Kairat in Kazakhstan on Tuesday tea time. Heaven forbid anything goes wrong out there, because it will be a media bloodbath. They're fucking idiots. Next up, Barcelona. But first, a wee nudge to you all. Bang. We at Revista Towers are fully prepared to mimic FC Barcelona and run up global debts of 1.2 billion euros. But we would really rather not do so. So help us right now, please. I mean this minute. This Monday Revista James Richardson Gazzetta dello Sport ripoff will always be free to you. But everything else we do here, my post-match videos from stadiums across Spain, my live videos after big matches where you guys ask the questions, and my weekend preview podcast with the mighty Pete Interceptor Jensen, that's all for socios, members of Revista de la Liga, who keep us alive financially. Like, for example, the live Substack for members Pete and I will do from the Olympic Stadium on Wednesday night after Barcelona and PSG have played. Sign up for that. There are 2 ways to join. A monthly membership is a mere £3.99. But if you get the annual pass, you save about 14 quid and you're good right the way through to the World Cup final, where Atleti beat Madrid 7-3. Well, I hope to be covering Spain becoming world champions. Become a socio right now, get access to everything, and the link is in the description. You know what to do. You want to. Back to Barcelona. In all honesty, they're not playing all that well right now. Stubborn, full of fight, yes. Top of La Liga after their 2-1 win over Real Sociedad, which frankly might have been by a bigger margin had Ramiro not played well, but they're easy to punch holes through, and the thrilling nature of their creative football, which was their trademark last season, has dipped just as PSG hove onto the horizon. Sunday evening was an example. Debut for Pedro Fernandez, yes. More time for Rooney Bargi, yes. But a team which dallied on the ball 2, 3, 4 seconds too long all the time, sluggish, until the return of the little master. I'll bow to nobody in restating Lamine Yamal is, barring deep misfortune, going to be the global football equivalent of Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, Simone Biles, Shane Warne. Big words, and it was only a bit part on Sunday. The match tied 1-1, La Real sticking to their defend and break plan and doing it quite well. And then finally Lamine is brought on 12 minutes after the interval, apparently cured of his groin strain. He's on the pitch just over 60 seconds when, with a skip and a dip and a twist of the hip, he flummoxes and bamboozles poor old Sergi Gomez, leaves the Catalan left back in his dust, hits the byline and crosses for Lewandowski to score from a right-footed ball in. Now listen here, listen very closely folks. This is the left-footed inheritor of Messi's mantle. Lamine always had chosen to use his left boot in that situation. Normally it would have been the outstep of his left boot as he hits the right touchline, but he used his weaker foot to create the winning goal, just as he did when he crossed later on for Ferran Torres to set up Lewandowski to hit the bar, when honestly Stevie Wonder or Andrea Bocelli would have scored. What? If this kid has developed his right foot to the point at which it's up to scratch, which initially it wasn't, then frankly opponents might as well fucking go home. They'll have even less clue what this 18-year-old genius is going to do next. Anyway, happy news for Álvaro Odriozola, who scored La Real's goal. No footballer, I don't think, has been so betrayed by his physique as this Basque winger fullback in recent years. Post-match, he talked about the torture he's been through, mentally and physically, unable to play thanks to injury after injury, but balancing out, as he must have done 1,000 million times on his own, in pain, by talking about not being mentally broken because he feels lucky to live in his native city, lucky to play for the club he loves, lucky to have 2 lovely kids, and now to be back and scoring. They didn't win, but that was a happy note. Sidebar, Betis, home win, big crowd, sitting 6th, and with old Easter Island face in charge, Sunday's win over Osasuna, routine as it was, became Manuel Pellegrini's 264th time in charge of Betis in all competitions, one ahead of the legendary Lorenzo Serra Ferrer. The Chilean has the most wins, the most European matches. He's been at the club the most consecutive seasons, 6 of any coach. He's won them the cup, he took them to their only UEFA final, and get this please, goals against under Pellegrini, 407. Goals for under Pellegrini, you guessed it, 407. Yet his record includes 122 wins compared to 69 defeats. My strong suit was never arithmetic, but that's a puzzler. How does your goal difference work out at exactly 0 over 264 matches, but you've won 53 times more than you've lost? Love it. Solve it if you can. Finally then, Elche. Owned by a pretty mysterious Argentinian called Christian Bragarnik. The Franjiverdes live about 20 minutes from Alicante down on Spain's southeast coast, and they've only racked up 25 years in their entire existence in the top division, but right now they're playing with terrific order, self-confidence and defensive rigour. Affengruber, they're Austrian. Wow. Their 2-1 win over Celta, whose coach admitted that the Galicians had been completely outperformed, and for whom it seems nobody else but big, bodacious Borja Iglesias can score. They've got 6 in the Liga, and he's knocked in 4 of them. Plus, he got their only goal in defeat in the UEFA competition in Stuttgart. Bragarnik, the Argentinian owner, has been in charge since he bought majority control in 2019, 6 years ago, during which time the Ilicitanos have hired and fired 11 coaches. Right now, it's Eder Sarabia in the hot seat, ex-Quique Setién assistant who so annoyed players like Messi and Suarez when he would hector them with instructions under Setién's Camp Nou regime. Bragarnik was a VH video shop owner who started using unused and unviewed cassettes to record football matches. He then began to loan them out to local football coaches and finally built a huge clip library, then became an agent, made big bucks and is now the owner at Elche. And he claims he's brought them out of a €40 million debt 10 years early. Okay, maybe. Next month, Elche Stadium, which Bragarnik is rebuilding, will host Spain's World Cup qualifier against Georgia. And right now, they look very comfortable, talent-wise, tactically, and confidence-wise in Spain's elite. As may I say, do you? I like having you here. You scrub up nicely. Big UEFA week ahead for Spain's top teams. I'll be hosting a live Substack for the biggest match. Thanks for being there. Stay tuned.